Good morning. It is Tuesday. We're hanging out here on a little side road real quick before we get started. And you got your push alert, right? And you probably clicked it if you're watching here on the News 6 app, or if you're watching on News 6 Plus or on your laptop. It said crossing double yellow lines, like a question. And it says, I break down when you can't and when you can. Good morning, everybody. I'm Trooper Steve in Results One. We're here kind of close to the office. Kept it kind of local today. And I forgot my dress down clothes. I'm kind of a little upset at myself because I enjoy changing out of this mess. But we're here in Results One, and part of what we do is break down the obvious, right? The things that some people would say, really? But yes, really. Part of what I enjoy doing for you is reminding ourselves of the little things, the basic traffic rules that we don't pay attention to that end up, one, in hefty traffic tickets or serious crashes. And ultimately, if I can prevent one person from getting into a crash, I honestly don't care if anyone else thinks that what we're talking about is routine or mundane. Because if someone goes, man, Steve, thanks, then hey, that's what it's about. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about the markings in the roadway. We're talking about pavement markings, specifically double yellow lines. So first thing first, double yellow means absolutely under zero circumstance, no passing. You cannot pass that vehicle unless subsections meet, whether it's an agricultural slow vehicle and things like that. But 99% of the time, it's a no passing zone, right? So if you and another vehicle are headed within the same direction, you would not pass that car. If we were both headed north on a single travel lane and it was a double yellow, we couldn't pass. But the question is being presented, can I make a left off of that? What do I mean? Can I make a left into a driveway over that double yellow? Some people are going to go, well, no. Some people are going to go, well, yes. I want to show you exactly what we're going to do. So I've actually attached our GoPro camera on the outside, facing down, so we can see the double yellow when we drive. So we can check it out. We're going to look at the double yellow a few times so we have some things to look at and understand. And then we'll talk about crossing that. So let's hit the road here. And we're going to travel out here onto the roadway. Let this car get past us. So you see that double yellow out in front of us, right? Pretty bright, pretty obvious. And it's there. We would not be able to pass another vehicle if it was in front of us. It is so solid you could eat it for breakfast. So this would be considered a no passing zone. You would not be allowed to pass in this area. But what about if I wanted to make a left into a driveway? And that's the question that has been presented to us today. And I really, really, really want to talk about that. So we're going to make a left out here into the parking lot real quick. And let's see what the law specifically says about something like this while traveling. Because a lot of the times you're going to see this double yellow in all of the senses, whether it is a residential area, whether it's a business area, industrial. These areas are deemed no passing based off of a traffic study. You're going to hear me refer to traffic study a lot whenever we're talking about signage or roadway infrastructure, because there are teams, traffic safety teams in each county that are tasked with the markings of the roadway. So what does the law say about the double yellow line? So double yellow lines prohibit vehicles moving in either direction from crossing the line. You may not cross this line unless you are making a left turn, and it's safe to do so. So the reason we're out here, if you're just joining us, was that can I cross over that double yellow out in the travel lanes? If I'm turning into a business, I'm not trying to pass someone that's in front of me. I'm simply slowing down because maybe I want to stop at my buddy's house, or I want to grab a cup of coffee at the local coffee place and the roadway has a double yellow. So let's show exactly what we're talking about, right? So let's hit back out here and we'll go down this road here where the double yellow is. First you'll see it, and you can see it right here in front of us, pretty clear, right? So the double yellow, meaning if a car was in front of me, I could not pull in front of that. But if I wanted to pull into a business that was up ahead, could I cross over the double yellow that you're looking at right now? And the answer would be yes. I would be able to do that. So obviously, I'm making sure no cars are approaching me. I'm slowing down. My turning signal is on. I would be allowed to cross over that double into the business here. Hope that makes sense. It's easy. I understand. Someone's probably going, you're kidding me right now. Look, I have no problem breaking this stuff kind of down for you because it could prevent you from getting into a ticket or an argument, right? I love getting the messages, hey, my husband said this, my wife said that, my sister, my brother, and I settle like the family feuds. But there's a lot of misunderstanding of really small stuff. If I asked you, is doing 100 miles an hour illegal? 100% of the people would say yes. But if I threw out something super minor that you may have not heard me talk about, like, can I make a right turn from the left right turning lane if there are two? If I add a little question mark to it, I may make you question that a little bit. And you'll be like, well, no, of course not. Well, why not? You tell me. And then the conversation starts. So when we start addressing this little stuff, it builds up. Your skills get a little bit better. You can educate other people. And heck, we've got a really nice getting results machine in order to show you these things firsthand. So let's do it again. We're talking the double yellow. I got one for you. What about when we're looking at double solid white lines or a solid white line? So let's talk about that real quick. It's not part of today's stream or the topic of it, but I think it's pretty relevant. So a solid white line, I've got a nice little notes here, so I make sure that I give it to you right. Solid white line marks the right edge of the road. So what we call, or what I like to call, the fog line. The far right portion of the travel lane will always be marked by a solid white line, edge of the roadway, or separates lanes of travel moving in the same direction. Okay? Because then you're going to be separated before you cross over to an opposite direction by some type of yellow marking. The middle markings here in the state of Florida will never be white for you. You may travel in the same direction on both sides of these lines, but you should not cross the line unless you must do so to avoid a hazard. So the law says something specific, unique here. It says you shouldn't. It doesn't say you shall, meaning if you're just passing traffic to pass traffic, you could be in violation of the law. If you're swerving to avoid a slowdown or something, then okay. So you've got to make sure you're paying attention, because think about it, when we go through an intersection, those are solid there because it's setting you up to continue through that intersection. It doesn't want you interchanging because people are not expecting someone to change lanes within that box, right? So double solid white lines. A double solid white line separates two travel lanes. Two lanes of travel, going in the same direction. Crossing a double solid line is prohibited. Left turn only. So what did we just hear? We're out here covering double yellow, but double white also means you cannot change lanes while in that travel. Where do we see this here in Central Florida? Downtown Orlando, the Mills area. When you're traveling north on Mills, south of, I think it's Robinson, that curve, it is negotiated with two solid white travel lanes there. Markings, not lanes, markings. Because while you're in that negotiation, they do not, the state of Florida, Florida Department of Transportation, Traffic Engineering, has deemed it's unsafe to change during that. And I would agree with that, right? So let's go back here and look again on what we were here talking about. We're talking about those double yellow lines, of course. And it sounds simple, but it's really not, right? We've got questions about it, so we're going to talk about it. Out here, we're going to pull back out. And we'll head back down the roadway here. And you can see double yellow. So I would not be able to pass a vehicle in this direction. I would receive a ticket for it. It would be a moving violation. But I am allowed to cross it if I wanted to enter a business of some type. For example, I wanted to pull into this location right here. I can cross over, I can pull in here, and it's 100% allowed. I come here into the parking space, and we're parked. Nothing illegal about that. Absolutely nothing. But I need you to make sure you're yielding before making that left turn. You want to talk about a super cause of crashes here, from what I understand in our area, crashes that I've worked, making a left in front of approaching traffic. I have written that crash report 1,000,000 times. Vehicle 1 was traveling north on roadway A. Vehicle 2 was traveling south on roadway A. Vehicle 1 made a left-hand turn in front of Vehicle 2, failing to yield. The front of Vehicle 2 collided with the right side of Vehicle 1, resulting in a collision. Final rest, XYZ. Vehicle 1 has been, V1D1 has been charged with violation of right-of-way and issued a citation. Happens so often when it's so avoidable. So yes, you are allowed to make that left turn, but it comes with responsibility, just like jumping in the car, pushing start, and putting your seatbelt on. So as that's happening, it sounds simple, but if you mess up, the consequences suck. You're gonna get hurt, you're gonna be charged, and it could result in a fatal crash, depending on the area that you're doing the speed limit. Think about State Road 46 in East Seminole County. If you're traveling out there and you're turning into your residence, you probably live on some type of acreage, you're going to have the speed limit out there 55, 60 miles an hour. If you turn too fast in front of somebody and they can't stop, the impact will be catastrophic. All right? So when you're doing these double yellows, you have to be super cautious. So, of course, there is no passing. That is what you consider a no passing zone. Anytime you see the double yellow, it's all about 100% safety in those areas. So as we come back out here, we'll do it one more time just so we can see it. I like doing this with you guys because it provides good visuals. And maybe we'll take a trip out of the area, but being able to see this constantly allowed us to really demo it. So they're all over the place, super bright. You obviously can't cross this. Even if it was white, you would not be able to cross it. But if I wanted to turn into, say, the business up here, what the question that has been presented to us, can I make a left over a double yellow if attempting to turn into a business? And that answer is yes. Turning signal, we slow down, I have no one approaching me, I'm okay to make that left, I pull into the business. mission accomplished. All right, like I said, super easy today, right? Basic. And I was going to wrap up early, but no, I've got you with me. Let's just keep going driving. Let's see where we can find these elsewhere. Maybe we're close to College Park. We'll take a little drive there. I can give you an example of maybe some other indicators. We have our mission accomplished. So let's see if we can find any other possible signage, markings in the roadway that would apply for us today, because this was an amazing example, and I'm really glad we were able to thoroughly explain kind of the double yellow and the double white. What the marking on the right is, that's the far right here. Big white line in front of me, my stop bar. I have to stop here first before moving forward. If you pass the stop bar, you have now violated the right-of-way. So, then we've got other markings, right? This obviously, dashed white line. This is just a lane separator. You're allowed to change lanes with this in this area. If I wanted to cross over this, sure. Turning signal, cross right on over. And then what other lane do we have? Marking do we have? We have this solid yellow. This solid yellow, meaning the far left of the travel lane there. And that also has its own indication. Yellow lines separate lanes of travel moving in opposite directions. Single yellow lines may also mark the left edge of pavement. Exactly what we're seeing right there. So we're able to talk about a lot of things today specific to the markings in the roadway. Railroad crossing has their own as well. We cross on over, come out here. There is no way I'm traveling through the packing district right now because they go down to one travel lane, and it is an absolute nightmare. Talking to you guys a mile a minute. Let me get something to drink. Now, I'm really glad these questions get asked, because then ultimately it makes you a better driver, right? If you're out there making simple mistakes all the time, it adds up, and then you're going to get yourself pulled over. I'm a trooper at heart. I'm a law enforcement officer. I support them through and through. But at the end of the day, I didn't really enjoy writing tickets because I never enjoyed getting them. And if I can help you avoid something stupid that is minor in the traffic world that wouldn't really harm anybody else, but could get you in trouble because it could lead to a crash, I'm going to do that. And I know most cops out there would want you to know absolutely everything there is to know when traveling out on the roadway, because they want you to drive safely. I promise you that. You may not think so, but I can promise we don't like working the crashes, and we sure as heck don't like writing the tickets. It's just, how do you get people's attention? There's signage out there, there's educational platforms, there's all these things, and the traffic officer out on the road is that final, hey, look, you weren't paying attention, you didn't listen, here's the ticket. So when we're out here learning this stuff, I hope you pass it on. Let other people know about this. And if they think, oh, I already knew that, cool, awesome. Share it with someone else that might not have known. So we're going to get ready to turn out here to the College Park area in just a second and check out some of the lines. I see some double yellow out here. I see some the single white lines, and you can even see up ahead that solid white. Yeah, you can technically go over it, but the law asks you to refrain from doing that as much as possible. which you got to understand, you want to limit traffic movement as much as possible as you're approaching intersections. Vehicles going in all sorts of different directions. The last thing you need is unnecessary lane changes. So, all right, let's get going here. Green light, please. Let's go. All right, so we're going to go into College Park. And you can see some of those lanes I'm talking about. As we go over the railroad tracks. Double here, so there is no passing. But even out here, watch for the brake. Watch for the brake. Brake. Come back. One more brake. And brake. And it's back. Why is it doing that? Because it is being visually friendly for the driver. Showing, hey, look, there's a roadway here. Instead of confusing you, you can go ahead and make that left turn. All right, so we're going to come out here to the school zone off of Rio Grande. Got to say hi to our school crossing guards. We appreciate them. Everything that they do, of course. So here in the school zone, and you also have these markings. So double yellow is something that we should not think is only out on the highway. We're no passing zone. Like I just mentioned earlier, they're everywhere. This is residential. We're about to go from a 30-mile-an-hour zone down to a 15-mile-an-hour zone here in the school zone. And speeding fines are doubled. Your average ticket through somewhere like here for speeding could reach you close to $400 and 6 points, or 4 points on your driver's license. It is the last place you want to speed. And look, kids are going to school. Don't worry about the fine or just the cause. You don't want to hit anybody. So you can see here on the ground, clearly marked. I don't know if this guy's in a rush or not, but you didn't stay at my house yesterday. Super close. I have no idea who you are. Of course, OPD protecting the schools out there. Appreciate you guys. But again, in this area, no passing. Could I make a left? Of course I could make a left turn. It's probably checking out our truck. Like, man, results 1 is nice. Well, if you're looking, as long as you're thinking about being safe, that's all that matters. All right, so we're going to come back out here. And you can see some of those markings. We've got solid on the right. We've got double dashed on the center. These are our average roadway markings. But when you know what they mean, they kind of stick out to you a little bit more. And I think you would feel better driving. So guys, thanks for joining me on this Tuesday. I thought this was a really fun one. I know, super basic, but to be able to break that down to you in such a simple way and feel like we're making some leeway on what these markings on the roadway means a lot to me for you guys streaming in. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, safe day. Remember, no passing in the double yellow, and you can make those left turns over it as long as you're yielding to that oncoming traffic. Have a great day, guys. Be safe, drive safely, always wear your seatbelt. Tune in over at clickorlando.com. News 6 at 9 starts in just a few.